And this is Spiked Up.
Welcome to Spiked Up.
Welcome to Spiked Up.
Welcome to Spiked Up. And this is Spiked Up.
Welcome to Spiked Up.
Welcome to Spiked Up.
Welcome to Spiked Up.
Hey there, Colorado running fans. Welcome to this week's edition of Spiked Up. As always, I'm Bobby Reyes, and I'm going to be your host. As always, before we get the show rolling, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, the Niwot Market. So one big thing I want to touch on before we start talking about cross country is a huge shout out to Valor Christian alum Anna Hall. She is the world champion in the heptathlon. Several years ago, she took silver. The Paris Olympics didn't go the way she wanted it to. She got redemption in Tokyo, world champion in the heptathlon. Massive congratulations to Anna Hall. Let's talk cross country because there's plenty to talk about this week. Starting with the Coronado Cougar Classic. I had to say that one a little slow. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Coronado's Oliver Horton is just on fire this season. Torches a 14:38, torches his own course record in the field as well. This was a massive victory in an insanely fast time. There's plenty to be excited about with Oliver Horton in the coming months, but not even just here in the state, but looking at NXR and NXN. He is on fire this season. Likewise, on the girls' side, Air Academy's Kimora Cooper took this one. She ran 17:40, which was just ahead of TCA's Vivian Jack, who finished second in 17:46. All right, moving along to another tongue twister of a race title, the Windsor Wizards Invitational. Eaton's Delaney Reuter doing Delaney Reuter things. Clocked a 17:15 to run away with a dominating victory here. All right, now we're going to go to another big race coming out of this week. Outside of Coronado, there was the St. Vrain Invitational in Lyons. Massive race, kind of like Coronado. They split small school, big school. So we're going to start with the boys 2A, 3A race because it was Inglewood's Silas Strasberg who kicked to win this one in 16:23. And of additional note, this one came a day after he climbed a 14er, so he's doing this on tired legs. Very impressive performance coming out of him. Likewise, on the girls' side of the 2A, 3A race, it was Resurrected Christian's Carissa Johnson. Ran away with this one, 19:31. This is a 43-second victory, domination on her side. All right, moving along to the 4A, 5A portion of this meet. I'm not really going to talk about teams too much here because quite a few teams actually sat out some of their top runners with Desert Twilight coming up. And so we saw just a little variations of rosters racing, but regardless of that fact, still some very impressive performances coming out of the meet. On the girls' side of the 4A, 5A race, we saw Cherokee Trail freshman Maddie Lang just telescoped away with this one. It was a tight pack for much of the race, and in the final mile, she just threw down the hammer, ran 18:22 for the victory here. But what was really impressive, in addition to Lang's performance here, was who got second. It was Brush's Evelyn Lapp, making huge strides here. She ran 18:39 to finish runner-up, but what was the most impressive part about this performance was the fact that she was 28th at the mile, 11th at the 2 mile, and then she finished off the final mile to finish second. So she actually ran this one opposite the way most people do it. Very impressive to see a freshman actually run from the back to the front like that. Definitely going to want to kind of keep an eye on here. Obviously, 3A is just getting stacked. I already mentioned Delaney Reuter earlier, but Evelyn Lapp is definitely a name you're going to want to remember in the coming months and the coming years because she looked great on Saturday. All right, moving along to the boys portion of the 4A, 5A race. Now what? Hunter Robbie, or maybe I'll call him Robbie the Hunter, because he literally sat in the shadows of the front pack for much of the race before really throwing down the hammer. That last K or so torched the field, flirted with the course record. He ran 15:19 to take the win here, just ahead of Niwot teammate Quinn Sullivan, finishing second here in 15:23. Niwot, they are the defending Nike Cross National champions, and with good reason. They've got a ton of depth. They put all 5 runners in the top 9 overall. It was an impressive performance. I wouldn't say it was just 22 points here for the victory, for the team victory, which I said I was going to mention teams, but 22 points, that's worth talking about regardless of lineups. Is of additional note, Rocco Culpepper, the 800 and 1600 meter 4A state champ from last spring, did not run, so this is Niwot still on an abbreviated squad.
Basically, what I would say for that is, 100, I guess I would say. He's more of like conserves energy, kind of like kicks farther out. And then I'm more of like probably a short distance kicker. So I guess we kind of feed off each other in that way. It's like I try and stay with him, try and close on him, but he kicks out far. So it's kind of like this energy of like, I don't know, it's a competitive energy. I feel like our whole team has that with each other. It's like we feed off each other with like a positive, competitive vibe. And I think it really excels our team and makes it what we are today.
All right, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of Spiked Up. Of note, Woodbridge Classic is happening and is omitted from this week's edition of Spiked Up because it is literally happening in the future from this actual taping. But you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on results from there. There were a few Colorado squads that went out there, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to predict the future and say something awesome happened. But so that's this week's edition of Spiked Up. Another shout out to our sponsors, the Niwot Market. And as always, I will see you on the court.
Doing it all for you, my Lewis. I'm just getting started. Doing it all for you, my